The winner of our Adventurous Authors category for ages 8 to 11 was Fintan from Windlesham House School, who's aged 9, and his story was called Cathedral Commotion. It was midnight as the cathedral door slammed shut. I jumped out of bed, wondering what the noise was. My bedroom window faced the cathedral. We had lived in the flat above the cathedral souvenir shop for my entire life. I looked out of my window. I couldn't get a clear view of the cathedral doors, but I saw a hooded figure scurrying away from the direction of the cathedral entrance. I knew right away that they weren't supposed to be there. The next day was Saturday. I usually enjoyed a lie-in, but this morning I was keen to accompany my dad on the morning's tour. He'd recently got a job as a cathedral tour guide, having lost his job as a player for Chichester Football Club. That morning, as we showed the first group of tourists around, we came across what I'd feared. Something was missing. The life-size painting of the Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. It had been loaned to Chichester Cathedral to mark its 950th anniversary. It was priceless, and it was gone. I knew the shadowy figure that I had seen last night was something to do with it. But there was no way that a painting measuring 460 centimetres by 880 centimetres was hidden under his hoodie, so where had it gone? Panic gripped me, and I shuddered. I was cold and wet. How could that be? One of the tourists asked if we were raising funds for the new roof. What new roof? I thought. As I looked up, I could see the clouds moving. There was an enormous hole above where the painting had been. There was only one possible explanation. The international art thief was at large once again. We had to cut short the tour to call the police. I left my dad to deal with the commotion, and I ran home to come up with a plan. I messaged my friends and told them what had happened. We arranged to meet after lunch on the cathedral bench to discuss how we could catch the culprit. Zach, Joe, Ron, George, Ted, Leo and I chatted for what seemed like hours, trying to come up with a plan. Could we outsmart an international art thief? George thought that if we could entice them back, he could rugby tackle them to the floor. Ted and Leo thought we should camp out to see if they came back. Zach and Ron wanted to film a reconstruction of the Mission Impossible scene, flying in from a roof and send it to the television news stations. They all had a point, but how was our plan going to come together? As we thrashed things out a bit longer, Joe and I had an idea. We did need to entice the thief back, and this was how we were going to do it. Our plan was to advertise that the Mona Lisa would be on display in the cathedral next week. The world's most precious painting coming to Chichester, and we would hide in the cathedral until the thief came back. We designed posters telling people about the valuable painting's arrival, and we stuck them around the city. Ted and Joe got to work recreating the Mona Lisa. It looked all right, good enough to convince someone in the dark. And then we waited, camped between the pews, eating sweets and drinking Sprite. On the third night at 3 a.m, the same hooded figure appeared. This time descended on a rope through the hole in the roof. We were ready. Zach had stolen his mum's phone. He was videoing the crime in action. George was about to pounce. Ron, Ted, Leo, Joe and I were hiding behind the painting. As the thief unclipped from the rope and walked forwards, George launched and sent him flying through the Mona Lisa. Zach yelled, "Finn, my bin, it's a win!" Leo hit the lights and Ted dialed 999 whilst the rest of us held the thief down. He wasn't getting away this time. When the police arrived, they took the thief into custody. We were all given a commendation and thanked for our bravery. They questioned the thief about the disappearance of the first painting, The Last Supper. He admitted stealing it, and sure enough, when they searched his house, there it was, hanging above the loo in his downstairs toilet. The painting was successfully returned to the cathedral, and the international art thief was sent back to jail.